waive mortgage contingencies. And I think it's really interesting. We should talk about what waiving your mortgage contingency in this market actually means, because a lot of times I hear sellers say, "Oh, well, they're not getting a mortgage." That's not necessarily what it means. So I want to hit on that a little bit too.
All right, perfect. So Julia, a new person that we have here, administrative coordinator.
Our new person.
Our new person. She
So
did.
Mel's the everything.
Yeah.
Julia's going to be the person.
Exactly. She did a nice job putting together our agenda here. So do you want to talk a little bit about what we're currently seeing going on in Massachusetts and how offers have been and what you see changing?
Well, that's a little bit on what I just touched upon. We are, for the first time, actually seeing an increase in the amount of inventory. Still low, right? Still low comparatively, but we're definitely seeing more properties coming on per county, and especially within our area, even in the South Shore. This is kind of where we're housed out of and doing a majority of our business, but certainly we go everywhere. We have agents that go everywhere. I think it's finally starting to pick up. More listings are coming on the market, but at the same time, like I said, we're seeing less offers on those listings. Still, again, from very qualified buyers, but there's not as where, with the rising interest rates, we've seen either a whole buyer pool potentially decide that they don't want to compete in this market anymore, or the ones that money was so cheap a year ago, at 2.75 or 2.5, that buyers could afford to go $50,000 to $100,000 over asking, with money becoming more expensive to get, or to finance, then they're not able to go $50,000 to $100,000 over asking.
And I know Jasmine has been talking about that for a while too. I know one of the last shows that I did, Jasmine actually was able to join us, and she did talk about the rising interest and how that makes a difference for people. I know Kristen is actually listening. She's helping us. She said she can hear us now. But we were talking about like which level of price range do we feel is going to feel it the most. So she feels that the higher priced ones will probably be okay because those people have the money, and if you're going to be $900,000, who cares if you're $800,000 at that point, right?
Yeah, it's all relative.
Yeah. But the lower priced ones, she's pretty sure like that might be where we feel the crunch. What are your thoughts?
That's what I'm feeling more than anything. So we have qualified buyers across every price range, and every demographic of houses. I'm feeling the most struggle with our buyers that were qualified, a year ago, potentially for $500,000, and today that same mortgage is really affording them about a $400,000 house. There's a big discrepancy between what $400,000 will get you in Plymouth County or Bristol County, and what $500,000 will get you. And it's scary to say that, but it's the reality. I think a lot of those buyers will ultimately end up, until they can wrap their heads around what's going on, maybe ultimately deciding to stay in their rentals for a little bit.
Yeah. And so let's bring this full circle around to what our topic is like, do you feel, even though we still have low inventory, we still have this rising interest rate consideration that we have to think about, do you think that buyers still have to be,
As
waiving?
aggressive?
Yeah. Do they have to waive their home inspection? Do they have to waive their mortgage contingencies in order for their offers to even be considered?
I don't think in order for them to even be considered, but certainly I do think there is still a time and place to put in an incredibly aggressive offer. So I almost feel the new buyers coming into the market today will know no different, right? So we have buyers that are getting qualified right now. They're just entering the marketplace. They don't know what the interest rates were a year ago, or maybe weren't as closely watching it. So where they are today, not going to affect them.
And don't you think that they should be jumping in now? Because, I mean, didn't Jasmine say, like, the interest rates are probably going to go up again?
Oh, yeah. I I think they're set to increase maybe at least 2 to 3 more times before the end of the year.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that they stay, like, that's the thing, is it doesn't mean that they always stay that way,
Yeah.
but that's just what's projected for 2022.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows what 2023 is going to bring?
Well, and that's the thing, though. Do you take the chance of, like, I'd rather know for sure where I am now, but I know that a lot of people are doing in five one arms, 10 one arms,
Yep.
and all that. I wonder, like, for me, I'd be like, all right, I just want to do this now because as prices are, as the interest rate is going up, if the interest rates go down, I can always refinance.
Well, so that's it's a kind of funny that you said that. So I always have the perspective, and Jasmine actually talked about it a lot on the show that she did with us, is just the mind frame that buyers are entering the marketplace in. It's all about perspective. If you keep your eyes focused on the market that you're currently in and stop looking at past markets, it's all relative, right?
Yeah.
So when Sam and I purchased in 2019,
Mm-hmm.
I locked in. I freaked out and locked in against Jasmine's advice. It was like 4.75.
Uh-huh.
I was like, oh my gosh, this is so low. Like we have to pull the trigger. And I was super pumped up about it. So that shows you back in 2019, interest rates were declining from 5%,
Yeah.
right? Literally locked in, and then they fell again, and they fell again, and they kept on going down, kept on going down. And we refinanced in 2021, I think, at the end of 2021,
Down to what?
2.5.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. I mean, you can always, why take the risk
2.75.
of things going up, up, up? Like if we see them going up, and that's what all the, professionals are telling us that they can consider it's going to still go up. Like I would want to be in something secure right now because
Yeah.
the higher they go up, the less you can afford.
But that's what I mean about perspective, right? So my perspective back in 2019 was, oh my gosh, 4.75 is amazing, right? And then,
I think mine was like 8, my first one.
see, perspective.
But yeah, I mean, back in 1992 when I paid $137,000 for my house.
Somebody told me that they saw like 13.
Oh, yeah.
13 and 15. So I wasn't around then.
Yeah.
I wasn't in the market then. Let's
No,
put it that
I
way.
don't think you were born then. So, yeah. I mean, yeah, but that is where it was. I mean, and no one knows where it's going. So you sort of have to, I don't know. It's like we're trying to give the professional opinion. And this is how I feel with, because we're not very salesy, calling people who are thinking about putting their house on the market. Like, I feel like I have the obligation to call people and say, you were really hoping that this was going to continue to go up, 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 up. Like, it's time now to put the house on the market because, but then there's the thing, like, I mean, Michelle Fay, another full-time real estate agent here at Boston Connect Real Estate, she's been on the show with us several times. She got multiple offers on her listings while I was away.
But I think it's going to be price point, and I still think it's going to happen. I just think the amount of offers that you're going to see is less.
Mm-hmm.
So you're still going to have strong buyers. You're still going to have strong offers to choose from, because there's going to be a whole demographic of buyers who are still in the mindset of, I have to waive my home inspection if I want my offers to be considered. I have to, work towards some appraisal gap coverage language, and I have to potentially waive my mortgage contingency.
Okay, so I'm old and I just have to spit this out because I'm going to forget, and I had a good thought. If you're a buyer, are you willing to give it all the way that you were before? Or do you say, okay, Mr. Seller, Mrs. Seller, I am willing to give you over asking, but I want my home inspection? Or are you going to say, I'm not going to give you, I'll just give you full price or maybe under, but I'll waive my home inspection? Like, I feel like there's going to be options that are going to come up.
I definitely, so even as a buyer's agent, I had an offer in on a property with a really, really qualified buyer. In previous markets, she would have had 6 to 10 offers on this property.
Mm-hmm.
It was me and one other person.
Wow.
Me and one other person. And the only reason we didn't get it is because the buyer wasn't willing to go up in price.
Yep.
And ultimately that was their choice. But, and she, the listing agent was upfront with me about that. So that means the other person also had a home inspection. The other person also had a mortgage contingency.
Mm-hmm.
She said that there was no house to sell, and we were neck and neck. It was just about price.
And I do think
And
that
this was just Monday.
one of the last ones that we had done that had multiple offers before I went away, I do recall seeing, like, there was only a couple that waived home inspection out of like 10,
Yep.
So I think that that's what we're going to start to see. Hello to all of our WATD listeners. You are listening to Talk Real Estate Roundtable here with myself, Sharon McNamara, broker owner of Boston Connect Real Estate, along with Mary Baker, who is my team member, and Melissa Wallace, who is our other team member, is not here tonight. She wasn't feeling well, allergy season. I have to tell you, 10 days away in Greece, and then,
How bad were your cars when you came home?
oh my God, well, we have the garage, but honestly, I never had a headache while I was over there. I never felt full or disgusting from the food.
Why do we have so much pollen here?
I don't know. I don't know, but it's giving me a headache. But anyways, I've been waking up with a headache every morning at 2. But if you have any questions for us, we'd love to take your questions. It doesn't have to be about this topic, anything to do with real estate. If you just want to give us some of your thoughts and opinions on this, I know that a lot of times we get those calls as well. George is in the studio in Marshfield, and he will pipe you over to us here in our Pembroke studio, 781-837-4900. Again, the topic is, waiving contingencies. I'm curious if anybody does have an opinion out there. If you're a seller, what would you prefer? Would you prefer more money with a home inspection, or would you be willing to take less money to waive the home inspection?
I feel like an attorney because I find myself saying this a lot.
It depends.
It depends. And I think every property is different. Like, we just did a market analysis on a property up in Quincy, and honestly, I'm not worried even in the slightest that about a home inspection on this property, nor are the sellers.
Yeah.
Because they stripped it down to the studs and completely redid everything several years ago. So in their scenario, they want more money. It's their retirement.
Yep.
But if you have a property that needs some repair,
Yep.
you're probably going to look for that waived home inspection.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, I would say. I mean, that would be my thought.
I mean, I live in antique houses. I would take a no home inspection over more money.
Yeah, but I don't know though. I mean, if someone's willing to give you $25,000 to $50,000,
25 is a lot. It's 25.
so if someone gives you $25,000 over asking, I mean, a home inspection is never going to bring in that much unless you have like a real disaster in your hands.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
No, I don't. No.
Yeah.
So even we had a multiple offer situation on one of our properties
While I
here
was away.
Well, technically, yeah,
Yeah.
while you were away, here in Pembroke, and the offer, I was very upfront. The offer that we accepted had a home inspection, had a mortgage contingency. There was no qualms, and there were other offers that had waived mortgage contingency entirely, waived home inspection. They weren't the best offer.
Yep.
They weren't the best fit.
So they ended up having a home inspection on it?
Yep.
And everything went well?
Everything went well. So if we look back on the show that we did last week, we talked about what I really liked that this agent actually put in their offer, because we were talking about info-only home inspections.
Yeah.
She actually wrote directly into the offer that no home inspection findings will be used to withdraw or renegotiate.
Okay.
Right into the offer. So I was saying that info only is very gray.
Yeah.
What does info only mean? So there's no gray area there.
Yeah.
I can clearly see and understand
Yeah.
what info only meant.
So say that again. How did she word that?
That no home inspection findings
Yeah.
will be used to withdraw
Yeah.
or renegotiate.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah,
That
I
was
do too.
good.
Yep.
Yeah, really good. Okay, I like that. Because that is one of the things we did sort of hit upon today is, some people, they're like, oh, well, we have our home inspection, but we want to go in for measurements. And then, Uncle Joe is, a contractor,
yeah.
and he's in there doing, really doing an inspection for them. So, yeah. 781-837-4900. Let me and Mary know that you're listening to us tonight so we can tell Melissa we got a caller. You can also get in touch with us on Facebook, or you can send me a text, actually, 781-294-4848, and we can get your questions answered for you.
So I think we've done a lot on home inspection.
Yeah.
Right? So, no, I think the type of property that you have is what will make or break if you're going to have a home inspection or not. Or that's what's going to be the motivating factor for the seller. But what about mortgage contingencies? So
I want to go back.
Oh.
Okay, you keep that thought, though. But let's go back to the buyer perspective on this, because this is something that came up today.
Yep.
I remember Nick actually talking about it, too, is like, and actually, Mary, it was you that said it.
It was?
I think it was.
Okay.
That you said, it doesn't really even matter if you have your home inspection. For the most part, sellers aren't going to give you what you're asking for, anyways, right? So as a buyer, do you feel cheated? Do our buyers feel cheated when they feel as if they need to waive that inspection? And does it really matter to have an inspection if the seller isn't going to give you any type of concession, anyways?
I think it's relative, right? So no, I do think it matters. I do think
Yeah.
it matters. I think a buyer should be having a home inspection
Me
when at all
too.
possible.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily agree with waiving it and would be a last-ditch effort, although we have seen it. We have done it even recently. There's a time and a place, but I also think it's a tolerance level, right? So if you've been in the market for 7 months and you're going in here and now you're starting to feel the pressure to waive your home inspection contingency versus making that decision on your own based off of the property, yeah, I think you're going into it and going to be super, super resentful,
Yeah.
right? But if you're cognizant of this property really should have a home inspection, this property, I trust my agent, I trust my own eyes, I've looked at a lot, and I feel comfortable waiving it, they're not going to have regrets,
Yeah.
right?
I agree.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, we would never, I mean, that's the thing too, is you don't want to really, we would never sway anybody in the wrong direction. But I mean, we certainly have seen.
I mean, there's been properties I walked out of and, I've had buyers look at me and go, oh, should we waive what do you think about the inspection? I go, hell no.
Yeah, definitely.
What are
an
you
inspection.
seeing that I'm not seeing? Like, what,
Yep.
you got like rose-colored glasses on here, my friend, because this house is falling down.
And I feel like those days are going to be over. I feel like that desperation of, an agent, I mean, a buyer, just like the flurry of, remember I had mentioned this, God, this was months ago, the analogy of like putting a piece of bread when you go to feed the fish, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like all the fish come up to the top and surface. I don't know. I feel like that energy is sort of going away right now.
Yeah. It's good for the buyer. It's creating more opportunities for buyers to get reasonable offers accepted.
Yeah.
I haven't been finding myself saying to buyers, you had no shot. Realistically, when our offers are getting rejected, and not that it's a ton right now, but they used to be, I remember there was one radio show that I did that I was like, I put 10 offers in this week and not a one got accepted. And I was so bummed. But every conversation was the same. Like, you didn't have a shot. Like, it was super over asking and all contingencies were waived.
Yep.
I'm not seeing that anymore.
Yeah.
Now I can pinpoint and say it was more money. They did have a home inspection, or, they waived home inspection. It's a little bit more equal.
Yeah.
Not equal, but it's leveling off a little
Yeah,
bit. Is that the right word?
That's what I was saying earlier. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Kristen Howlett, again, full-time agent here at Boston Connect Real Estate's been on the show several times. She had actually mentioned that she has an accepted offer on a property in Marshfield that's under asking. I think it's like $20,000 under asking,
Yeah.
So I feel like the buyers, so I listen to Clubhouse every morning, as I was saying, and I love to do that because I'm hearing different scenarios and different information that's coming. And I do want to do a show that has a bunch of these agents on with us from different states and countries, actually. And in Canada, they're predicting within a month that it is full blown going to be a buyer's market.
Completely shifting.
Wow.
Wow.
And they sense that happening here. And that's why, I took back what I said earlier in the year where I said, I feel like maybe we'll have even less inventory coming in the fall because with the interest rates rising, why would anybody ever sell their house like me?
Yeah.
All right, I'm at 2.375. I'm not going to sell and get go lateral and have a higher mortgage, right?
Yeah.
I'm just not going to do that. But it matters where I am in my life, I guess.
Or if you have to move.
If I have to move, yeah, right? There's divorce, death. I just had a wicked lisp. I had a lisp, and I don't even lisp. Death, divorce, and disability. That happens to people in relocating. Like, what if I decide to relocate to Europe and I just want to live a European lifestyle and eat my dinner?
I'll sell mine and I'll buy yours.
And just eat my dinner and lunches slowly. Like, people are doing it. I guess now would be the time for me to do it.
Yeah.
Right?
I agree.
Yeah.
I think, and I'm not going to use the word perspective again, but even, this couple that we did a market analysis for, I think sellers are hearing it. It's actually sinking in. And it's sinking in from other venues, obviously, than just the real estate agent.
Yeah.
Because they're coming to us with this information and saying, yeah, like, we're hearing that the market is slowing down a little bit. And I'm like, it's not a slowdown, it's a shift. But you're right. If we're not getting the money that you anticipated, it's because we missed it just by a little bit.
Yep.
It definitely.
You don't want to be chasing the market. Remember, that used to be one of my slides,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
When you overprice a house, and we're starting to see price changes.
Yeah.
We're seeing price reductions on things now in MLS. But it's like a snowball, chasing a snowball going downhill, and you can never, before you know it, by the time you get to the bottom of the hill, the snowball is bigger than you are.
Yep.
So that's where, and we had that discussion today. We have 2 new condos coming on the market in Dorchester, 44 Butwell Street, by the way, if anybody is interested, right?
Yeah,
So,
give us a buzz.
yeah, give us a buzz because they're beautiful and it's a complete renovation on those. And that's what we're saying to him is price it. We'd rather price it aggressively than try to
You don't want to
test a market.
Yeah. You don't want to overshoot and sit and be stale. And it is a little bit of a moving target right now. That's, and not that it always hasn't been, but we've struggled over the past, we as an industry has struggled over the past even year and a half to really accurately price properties because there's so much emotional intention behind what properties are selling for. That
Because those houses weren't appraising.
No, but that's the stuff that they don't talk about.
I know.
I literally used this analogy about we had a Weymouth property that we listed for $499. First appraiser came in, appraised it at $490, so $10,000 below what we listed it at. Second appraiser came in, appraises it at $580.
Wow.
How do you have a $90,000 swing?
Yeah, it's crazy.
How do you what is
The
the
first one was definitely in a bad mood.
a very, very bad mood. So they were able to kind of get that one thrown out.
Yeah.
And with a lot of effort by ourselves, the buyer's agent, the buyer, a lot of huffing and puffing. But ultimately, I mean, when you look at that scenario, that's the exception. That doesn't happen all the time. Like you almost always are sticking with that first valuation.
Yeah.
For sure.
We have 6:45 right now, so we're on until 7 tonight. Hoping that you are enjoying our topic so much that you have decided not to call us. We won't take it personally. 781-837-4900 is the number. George is at the studio. We'd love to hear your perspective, your thoughts on this topic. Again, we're talking about, waiving contingencies, seeing a little bit of a shift in the market. Give us a buzz, 781-837-4900. Mary, I rudely interrupted you, and you were going to get into mortgage contingencies, I think, right? Or appraisals. What were you going to do?
So I was just talking about appraisals, but that goes hand in hand kind of with your mortgage contingency. Because I think it happens a lot. So your mortgage contingency is written in the offer for you to get a mortgage, right? What happens when you waive it? What does it mean when you waive it? Two kind of separate things, right? So one, you could be providing proof of funds, and proof of funds would be a statement, a bank statement, investment profiles, or portfolios that would show that you have in your possession in some, or could get whatever the purchase price is. So if you're purchasing a property for $500,000, you need to show us that that money is available to you in some way, shape, or form. You can waive your mortgage contingency there. That's a true cash offer.
Yep.
Or we're seeing people waive more. Sharon's just trying to break my neck here.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
She's all tangled up
I know.
and flustered.
Yeah.
And then you also have a mortgage contingency where you essentially represent to the broker, the agent, that you are so confident in your financing, or your financing is so strong that you are willing to risk your entire deposit. So whatever you put down initially with your first deposit, then your second deposit with purchase and sales agreement, whatever that amount is, you are representing that if you do not obtain a mortgage, or you get denied for a mortgage in any way, shape, or form, that you are willing to risk that entirely. There is, it's a little bit more intricate than that. You would have to, whatever the purchase and sales guidelines are, potentially a attorney could protect you from losing your entire deposit within the purchase and sales agreement. But in theory, that is what you were saying. You are not saying that you're not getting a mortgage, just that you are really, really confident you're going to get one. Am I explaining that right? Do you understand?
I understand what you're saying. I do this every day.
I know you understand what I'm saying, but I find it insane
I think that anybody taking the risk of thinking that I know that I confidently am going to get this mortgage and I'm going to waive my mortgage contingency because I'm that sure. Well, and here's the thing, we've been playing this game for a very long time, Mary. You always come from the thoughts of a buyer. I come from the thoughts of a seller, right? So you're trying to protect the buyer. My fiduciary responsibility is to the seller. I'm not allowing, that I want proof of funds. You can tell me that you're going for a mortgage and that you're 100% sure. And I know that there are all kinds of new programs that are out there because we've had every single loan officer from every single bank and every single company call us in the past 2 weeks to try to get into the office to have, lunches and everything else. And I think it's great that they're putting people through the underwriting process. I feel like they're a little late.
Yeah.
I feel like they're a little late on that,
Yeah.
like on that thought process. But again, they're doing it. And they're saying it's good as having cash. But somebody could lose their job. We had that happen
Well,
on
that's
one of
what-
our listings one time. A guy lost his job a week before we were closing.
I think that's where I get nervous and I'm saying, within the purchase and sales agreement, and maybe, one of our attorneys is out there listening that could let me know. Is there a way to protect that deposit in any way, shape, or form? Because what if the unthinkable happens? I mean,
Protect it for who, though? Protect it for the buyer or protect it so the seller gets it?
so it as it's written, like just a blanket waiving your mortgage contingency, I think it protects the seller. I don't think it protects the buyer at all. And I think buyers are risking a lot under, or maybe not even having the full conversation of what it really means to waive your mortgage contingency. Or maybe I'm just very, very risk averse. And I'm like, I don't even gamble.
Yeah, I don't like gambling either. I don't
But I
even
don't
like
even
being.
do penny slots.
Yeah, I don't I could do some of that, like a roll. I used to do a roll of quarters, but you don't even do that anymore. Like it's whatever.
I couldn't tell you the last time I saw
Yeah.
roll quarters.
I know. But
Right.
I just feel like it is taking a risk, and is that risk? I'm
Worth
not,
it?
as a listing agent, I'm going to tell my seller not to take the risk. Why should we be the one taking the risk? You show me proof of funds that if this doesn't go through, you are paying cash. Like that's period, amen. That's how I feel.
So would you say you wouldn't accept an offer from a buyer who it's the only offer you have in hand?
Oh, well, that's different.
Yep. I'm just curious how we navigate it, right? Only offer we have in hand. They are saying they're waiving their mortgage contingency,
Yeah.
but they have informed you that they
Why
will-
would they do that if they're the only offer? But go ahead.
Maybe they don't know that they're the only offer. Nobody asked.
Okay. Yeah, that happens a lot.
Yep. Nobody asked. They just submitted an offer.
Yeah.
And they've waived their mortgage contingency and they provide you with a pre-approval letter. What's your next step?
Say that again.
They've waived
Yeah,
it.
they waived
in
it.
the offer.
And
but
they gave me
pre-
a pre-approval letter.
They gave you a
Well,
pre-approval
there's
letter.
part of me that feels like, why are you giving me a pre-approval letter? You've already waived your mortgage contingency. Like, so I don't even really care. You're telling me that you're going to be able to get this. I need something that's more proof of funds. That's how I feel.
So would you go back to the agent and say, what is the scenario? Are they selling a house?
Oh,
Are
yeah.
they, where
Well,
is this
because
where
a
is this
lot of-
money coming from?
A
And
lot
she
of people
says,
think that.
No, they're getting a loan, but they're so confident in their financing that they're willing to waive their mortgage contingency. What is your next step?
I guess seeing how much they're putting down for escrow.
That's where I'm getting at.
Yeah. So, if they're putting down a good amount, that happened to us recently, right? So they put down $100,000, right, for purchase and sales agreement. And it's basically saying we're that confident that we will get our mortgage. All right. Well, great. If you don't,
Just
then
know.
you have the potential to lose the $100,000. It's actually 101 because they gave one with the deposit. And I know we talked about this earlier today that people are now doing $5,000 as the first offer and
First deposit.
first
yeah.
deposit. This whole thing came up today about people not even giving copies of the check anymore. That like blew my mind. And then we're also hearing that buyers are out there, sellers, listen, whether you're using us or not, I'm not giving you any advice. Please, you have to, if you are already listed with somebody else, talk to them about
Don't
this.
send them our way.
Yeah. I mean, this is what we were discussing today, 12 of us, is we're seeing buyers put in multiple offers on the same weekend. So like
Same weekend,
same
same
weekend,
day.
same day. They're putting in 3 offers on 3 different properties on the weekend. So just be careful. And I love, because we called Emmanuel Ebot, who I actually reached out to 3 of our attorneys today just to see who could call me back the fastest while we were doing our thing today.
It's a game of round
They were
robin.
all very good, by the way, and all did get back to us. But what was my point with him? He was like, what, you can lose that money, right?
Yeah.
But he said, we can, as listing agents, say, are you representing that this is the only offer that your buyer has put in the same time period?
Yeah, that the only offer they have pending.
Yeah.
Which, I guess you would go back to your front runners, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you go back to your front runners and ask that question.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I get it from a buyer's agent perspective, so I'm going to play devil's advocate here about buyers and buyers agents putting in multiple offers on different properties within the same day, because the offer deadlines are getting so stringent and inventory is so limited. Buyers feel as if they're missing out on an opportunity when you have 2 properties that have the same exact deadline, and they don't want to miss out. My big thing with buyers is, are you willing to walk away from B if you get A, and A if you get B first? So are you willing to go with whoever responds to you first? I know.
And again, I mean, it really does. You can only tell your buyers, like, this is what the risk is. So long
Yeah.
as they understand that they are risking potentially the $1,000, then it's okay, right? So long as they understand what the risk is.
Yeah.
But you certainly don't want someone in there who doesn't.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't be putting in 10 offers in one day.
No, absolutely not. That's 10
that's
grand.
that's a lot
right?
of thousands.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we hope that you like tonight's show. It's 5 minutes to 7 already. If you want to listen to any of our past shows, you can find us. We have a podcast and a website, which is Talk Real Estate Roundtable and .com for the website. And you can go onto your podcast app. I think you can even just say, like, Alexa, play Talk Real Estate Roundtable.
I do it at home.
And it will come on. Yeah. So you can do that. And if you have any ideas for topics that you would like to share with us, feel free to get in touch with us. You can reach us at realestate@bostonconnect.com, and we would love to hear your thoughts on that. You can send us a message on Facebook or whatever too. And we have some new listings coming on. So next week we'll have a couple condos coming on in the city in Dorchester.
I'm excited for that.
Yep. And I know we've been out there doing some CMAs, and
Sure have.
the office has a lot of new. This is where Melissa usually comes in.
Yeah. Tells
So-
everybody what's going on.
Yeah, I know Kristen Howlett. She was here earlier. She's putting a new listing on the market tomorrow. I wish I knew the address. I wish I knew the price, but I do know it's a cute ranch.
Cute ranch. I think it's in Raynham.
It is in Raynham.
Yep,
Yep.
I think it's in
And
Raynham.
it's a cute ranch. Really nicely done on the inside. So keep your eyes open for that one tomorrow with Kristen Howlett. I'm sure she would love to get you a one-on-one showing on that. And anything else going on?
No new, other than those 2, nothing pending right now.
Mm-hmm.
But we will be busy. I can feel like the spring is coming.
The spring.
No, it's not the spring, the summer.
The summer.
Like, I do feel like it's going to start to get busy.
Okay.
I do.
Yeah. Well, I do think that if you are thinking about selling, right now is your time.
But that's
like,
why I think it's
period,
going to get
amen.
busy. I think we're going to start getting blown up for
Yeah.
more market analysis, because people are like, okay, well,
Now's the time.
everybody's telling me that now is the time. My CPA is telling me that now is the time. Like,
Yep.
the news is telling me, the real estate agents are telling me.
And too, it is a great time too, because this is the other thing too, and I would love to have a show with Alyssa right now, because Alyssa McNamara from
She's
McNamara
always
Financial.
so much fun.
She really is, and she gets so fired up about numbers and data and all that. But there's a lot of investors out there right now, and they don't want to have anything to do with the stock market right now. They would rather have their money in real estate. So if you have some of those estate properties that you're thinking of selling, like, now is the time to be doing that as well, because those are getting gobbled up and at a good price.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
yeah. Anything else for people?
Is there something that you know that I don't know?
No.
Oh,
I know. I just mean we have 3 minutes left. I just don't know where to go with
I
it.
know
but
you ended it real quick.
well, I have like a headache, and
I know. I
just
can
don't
see
know
you
what
like
to say.
wincing
I'm
in
not wincing.
pain.
All right. Well, let's give a recap to all of our listeners then. You give a couple minute Let me just ask you, do buyers still have to drop all of their contingencies, mortgage contingency, home inspection contingency, appraisal contingency, in order for their offers to get accepted?
It depends, but no. It depends on the house. It depends on how many offers you're up against.
Mm-hmm.
But in general, I would say no. I think buyers have an opportunity here to still be competitive while retaining a lot of their contingencies, and protecting their deposits and not kind of giving away the whole bank. I really
Yeah.
do.
And I do think too, like when we're talking about the inspections and it's like for informational purposes only. I don't care what word you put before the word home inspection, it's a home inspection. But I do like that other agent put in that verbiage about, not to withdraw or to renegotiate
Well, I like that it was in the offer.
right in the offer,
Yeah.
which is perfect. But that's a good way to come back as a seller to say, you know
Well,
what,
if you're not
we'll
gonna
accept it, but that's what we're going to put in there. But if they are going to have one, let them have that inspection after they receive their commitment letter, so you know that their financing is going to go through.
Yeah.
So
At that point, I just wait. I just wait until I have the house, right?
yeah, absolutely. 100%. Well, George, thank you so much. It was great to be with you again tonight, and to all our WATV listeners. We will be on Saturday. I'm not sure who will be with me, but I don't know if it will be the same topic, a different topic, but be sure to listen in. We're on Saturdays from 10 to 11, and every Tuesday, again, you can go to Talk Real Estate Roundtable. If you need any assistance with selling your home or buying a home, get in touch with us at bostonconnect.com or 781-294-4848 or 781-826-8000. We'll see you next week, or we'll see you Saturday. Bye, George. What you offered?
For all our Facebook listeners, the address for Kristen Howlett's property is 175 Nichols Road in Raynham. So if you want more information about that, you can contact Kristen Howlett, or you can call us here at the office, and Mel can get you all that information.
Yes. 781-826-8000.
Ow. My back hurts.
I have a headache.
I'm an old lady.
I was
What happened?
sort of having a hot flash through that.
Ow.
I think Melissa must be sleeping because I thought maybe she'd be listening.
Probably is sleeping.
Mary Hill is watching. Hey, Mary Hill. Haven't seen you in a while.
Oh,
But
Mary.
hey, Mary Hill.
I feel like I look meaner with Invisalign.
I saw you gagging at one point.
I look very like scrunched up.
I have a headache.
I'm trying to end it.
Okay, here we go. Say bye. Bye, everybody.